Hey guys, today I've got a few topics. This is, episode 5. I'm Thistle Night Bliss, and I'm having a very positive day, and I'm glad about that. It's funny because I was feeling, pretty crappy about recent events, but it seems like just that feeling crappiness kind of deterred me away from something that would bring me joy. I was trying to stay away from tarot readings because I didn't want to I don't think that's fair to do a reading when you're in a bad mood because I feel like it'll influence it and you don't want that. So what I really wound up doing was distancing myself from doing the tarot readings for a little while. But as soon as I sat down and started doing all my readings and catching up today, I just felt immensely better. I felt so much better after sending out all my readings today, and I'm just so glad I did. And I'm going to have to make sure that I don't do that again, because obviously, the tarot is a positive thing, and so positive in fact that it will chase the yucks away, and that's something that I like. Anyhow, today, what I'm wanting to discuss is getting started. I mentioned on the page yesterday, somebody was like, how do I get started? And that's kind of one thing that really overwhelmed me in the beginning was, what do I do? I need all this stuff. Because, you buy, especially if you bought a Raymond Buckland book or maybe Gardner's book or, something that goes into, you need this and this and this, and here are the Sabbats. There are so many beginner Wicca books and beginner witchcraft books, and they all seem to point you in the direction of a new age store. And I kind of disagree with that whole thing, because you don't need to make this giant investment to become pagan or to become a witch or to become a Wiccan. You don't need to do that. Some people may be under the influence that we have to buy all these herbs and we have to buy all these oils, and you need an athame, you need a bowling, you need a cauldron, and it's just like, oh, an incense, like that was like a huge thing for me. I would just run out the door and I was like on an incense spree. I swear I bought, what is it, like 3 years worth of incense. I haven't had to buy incense in 3 years. Yeah, that's how bad it was. So, and there's just no point. You don't have to go and get a chalice and, an altar tile with the triple moon or the pentacle or, stuff like that. You don't need an altar cloth. You don't have to go and buy all these candles. These are not things that are necessary to start your path. Now, that being said, part of, casting, and that's what I call it. Instead of a spell, I call it casting, because it's just a word I like. And so when you're doing a casting, what you're doing essentially is focusing an energy. And sometimes for a beginner that can be difficult to do. And that's what the altar tools are there for. It is to give you a visual so you're able to focus until you don't need that visual anymore. You can picture it in your head. Intent is everything. So if you're trying to direct energy, that's what you're using your athame for. And if you don't know what an athame is, it's typically a black-handled, double-edged knife. But you know what? It doesn't mean you need to get a black-handled, double-edged knife. No. just it's symbolic. You're not going to cut anything with this knife. You're directing energy. But you know what? You got a finger. And your finger does just as good a job as an athame. But if you absolutely positively find yourself struggling with directing energy, then yes, you will probably want to consider purchasing an athame or a wand. Whatever it is helps you focus the best. I have an athame and I have a wand and I have like this giant besom, and I have a chalice. My chalice literally sits in my kitchen, and whenever I have like an alcoholic beverage, like a good beer, I'm a good beer person. I want like a good ale. I want something dark and stout, and to me that's a good beer, and that's a drink I want to share with my goddess. And so if I'm cooking or something and I have an awesome ass beer with me, I will put some beer into the chalice. It's hanging out by the table with me while I'm cooking. I have a little bowl that sits up there, and sometimes I'll put, well, actually a lot, I put some food, a portion of the food, into my triple moon copper bowl, and at the end of the night I set it outside. Next morning I go, if it's an offering, that's my offering. But so yeah, beer and fried chicken is a common offering at my place, but it does not mean that you need to buy a special chalice and a special bowl. The only reason I have one is because when I was a beginner, I freaked the hell out. And it's just not necessary to do that. Get a regular bowl and a beer glass and sit it out there. Nature will come and take it. That's Goddess's way of coming and having, dinner with you. It's kind of how I feel about it. I kind of feel like I'm sitting around and having a beer with my higher power. How does that not sound fun? Seriously. If it helps you focus your intent, one thing that I do, and I catch myself doing this quite often, is sometimes I do unconscious casts. And what happens is I have a surge of emotion over, joy or anger or whatever it is. And, well, actually, the only time any of my casts are effective is when I've got this emotion behind it. I want it, I see it, I visualize it, I project it, I make it happen in my life. So I could just literally think, focus, see, it's gone. And I've released that energy into the universe. Like, it's out there. And I can see it just click into motion. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not sure if I intended that to happen or not, but, it did. So it's really important to keep in mind, that stuff like that happens. Now, for a beginner, it's not that easy all the time, and I get it. For some of you, it's going to be natural. For some of you, it's not going to be that natural. And you're going to want, I'm going to use my electronic cigarette as an example. Okay, this is my athame, and you want to charge something, and you're a beginner. You need to be able, and this is an amulet, we'll say. And I want something that is going to keep my husband in a good mood all day long. I want him to go to work feeling great. I want him to handle everything the most positive way that he can. I'm going to put that intent into this amulet. I'm going to use my athame. Now, I'm a little bit more advanced, so I'll just hold it in my projective hand. You have a projective hand and you have a receptive hand. It's normally your projective hand is the hand that you use to do things with. You write with it, you bat with it. It's not always, but more often than not, it goes with your dominant hand. For me, it's my right hand. So my projective hand, I'll just hold it in that and put my intent and focus in it that way. For somebody who is not quite comfortable with that or doesn't feel like that's going to get it done, or you can use your affirmate here and put the intent into it that way, and just make sure that you're focusing all your time, your energy, putting in your intent, all that emotion of what you want to achieve into that amulet through your projective hand and into your athame or electronic cigarette or whatever it is that you're using as a tool to help you focus your energy. There will come a time when you will look at yourself and be like, why do I have all this stuff? My husband looks at me cross-eyed all the time, like, why do you have all this stuff? And I'm looking at him and I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I know why I have all my books, but I don't really know. I have all this stuff. Like, I know why I have sage. I burn it. I keep sage and smudges, honestly. I am a constant sager and a constant smudger, and I just feel like there's negativity coming in and out of this house all day long, and I'm getting it out. And I always feel better when I burn it. I keep some incense around, and I mean, I have some herbs, but honestly, if they're not culinary herbs and I'm not like, practicing or, learning about kitchen witchery, I'm probably not, doing that. I burn sage, I burn cedar, I burn rosemary, I burn sweetgrass. I have a sage, cedar, sweetgrass combo smudge stick that I have that's partially burned. And those suckers are good. I love those. My husband will come home from work and he'll be like, what is that smell? Because it smells like pot. We had a quarters inspection one time, and I'm like sitting here burning white sage, and I get the phone call. I've got the sergeant with me. We're going to be there in 5 minutes. And walks into the house, and immediately I'm just like, oh shit. I'm not smoking pot, I'm burning sage. And I run out of the room, and I can hear them laughing. Laughing at me. It's just one of those experiences where you're like, oh shit, I'm in trouble now. But no. Obviously, I guess Brian told him that. I don't know. I seriously doubt that anybody really suspected that it was pot, but it kind of smells like it. Anyhow, I'm way off topic, and I may have to make this a two-parter. But, yeah, for now, I mean, getting started, if you absolutely positively have to, and you have the money, then buy yourself, an incense burner or an athame, a bowling, I mean, if you feel like you need to do that, but I'm telling you, it's not necessary. I cast spells mentally. Like, seriously, it's just gone. If I'm really serious about it, I will sit there, concentrate, form a picture in my mind, and send my intent at that picture. Done. I'm not a ceremonial magician. I'm not, the only time I use ritual is on my Sabbats, maybe on my Esbats. It just depends on what I'm trying to get, or what I'm trying to achieve. I don't do a bunch of la la la, like I don't do a bunch of that. It's just not my style. But I'm gonna stop here because I'm about at 15 minutes, and I think I will do a part 2.